Okay. Hey, everybody. Hey, we're having technical difficulties, but please stand by. But someone who's never had technical difficulty because he was around before technology, Frank, take it away.
Thanks, Pat. Hey, my name is Frank Regallo, and welcome to the Pat Oates
Oh,
POS
wait, hold on.
show.
What are we doing? Why are we shoehorning your own name in before my name? What the fuck is that?
I think he's trying to just outdo me after last week. He felt a little pressure.
The pressure is on. I don't know if I could handle it. And
You didn't watch last week.
The last time I was on was the first time back since he did that unbelievable announcing job. I mean, it's already up for whatever fuck they have on podcast for.
A Nobel Peace
He's
Prize,
up for
actually.
it. I'm nominating for it. It was unbelievable. It was, as I said then, and I'll say it now, it was the master class of announcing. I mean,
I'll start mine again so you don't have to do what you fuck just did, okay? Joke, thing, ha, go. Here's your announcer, Frank Mergallo. Take it, Frank.
Thank you, Pat. Welcome to the POS show with co-host Pat Oates and Bobby Tamburo. And tonight's guests, we have comedian Pete Angelo from the Did I Like This podcast? And Andrea Bryant, a comedian from the East Side Dave show. Take it up, Pat.
Take it up what? What do I take it
Pat,
up?
let's try it again with me. Tag me in here. Let's see. If Frank does die, let's see if we can do it better. Try it again. Let's see.
Joke, waka, George Floyd, whatever. Take it, a new announcer, Bobby Tamburo.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Pat Oates Show, the POS podcast, where we decide who the piece of shit is in every story. With us, as always, is your lovely and ageless host, Pat Oates, our announcer who seems to have Benjamin Button's disease, Frank Mergallo, and two comedians ready to throw around some heavyweight versions of their comedy, two powerlifters. We've got Heavy Metal Pete Angelo from his Do I Like This podcast, and we've got Andrea from Queens from the East Side Dave show, who I've been told can deadlift over 300 pounds.
Been told correctly.
Nice.
Did I also do it?
Yeah. Joke. Something about pedophilia. Take it, Pat.
Hey, welcome to the Pat Oates Show with me, Frank Mergallo, and I'm kicking it. It's the co-host of a show that has one host but two hosts, Pat Oates, and also Bobby. Fuck him, he's taking my job and taking years off my life. Tamburo. It's still Mergallo. We got over here some fat white guy. I think his name's Pete. Whatever. He did my show at Dante's once. He lifts a bunch. And there's some dame. I'm not sure who she is. I heard she was in the military, and that's okay with me. Take it, Pat. I think I won.
Yeah.
I think so too. I mean, Bobby did a 5-minute set. I mean,
Oh, you're gonna light him?
If you think that's a set, Frank, I understand why your shows are still all bringers.
Oh, this is going to be the only podcast I will say absolutely nothing. Just be that's our time.
Because now Andrea, it's
Nothing
time
but intros.
for you to announce. No.
Yeah, Andrea. Joke. Take it, Andrea.
Good evening. Welcome to the POS podcast with your host, Pat Oates, and stellar co-host, Bobby Tamburo, announcer, announcer, Frank Mergallo, and comedian and powerlifter, Pete Angelo, and me, comedian and all-around lackadaisical Navy Reserve member, Andrea Bryant.
Oh, Frank, when you die, we have your replacement. That was the best one ever.
Andrea,
right, Pete,
I can die in peace now. Thank you.
I can kill you.
You don't have
speed
to.
it along.
Life is already doing it. So,
Pete, can you do a metal version where you just do the screamo? Welcome to the Pat Oates Show.
That sounds like it would be the most painful thing. No, all right.
yeah, thank
I
you.
was going to say the most painful thing I've ever done to my throat, but that would be a lie.
Frank winked at you.
Yeah.
Real quick before we get to all the stories, Frank, you're okay? Last week you weren't
Yep.
here. The people were asking if you're dead. Every week we make jokes. And then you told me, like an asshole, that I was a prophet because you might actually really die. I'm not a prophet. You're 79.
Yeah, it's just probability.
Eventually, he'll be right.
Yeah, if you just
okay?
keep saying it, like
Yes,
eventually,
I am. Yes, I am.
it's like a
I-
rain dance. If you
in
keep
fact,
dancing until it
In
rains.
fact, this morning I was in the Poconos.
Right.
and I drove home to be here tonight.
You could have done it from there.
Who
I
lets you
know,
drive
but
there?
I felt it was better to come home under surroundings that I enjoy to do this podcast. I don't want to have
Okay.
any negativity on me.
Right. Are you tired right now?
No, I took a 3-hour nap after I got home.
Nice.
So I'm ready.
I didn't know if we had to kick the first story to you so you could tap out. Or we should, like, go away.
No, I'm okay for the next 2 hours.
Oh, we don't have that. I have to be back
Yeah,
to work in about an hour and a half.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
This is great. And also to go to work where I'm not getting paid just to help out extra because I'm that kind of asshole. But all right. So Andrea, Pete, thank you for being here. Like I think Bobby tried to explain, but it's how it goes. I talk a lot. Bobby talks a little bit more, not as much as me. Frank says some things, and then we kick it to you, pretend like we need guests, but in reality, we're just three egomaniacs who think we should have 2 other people. We're not just talking to each other. We're
You're
gonna
here
find
more
some
for us
interesting
than for you.
stories. All right. So Bobby, do you have any stories this week? You haven't had
Yeah.
any-
Yeah, but let's go to me a little later. I'd like to come towards the end, if that's cool.
Right away. That's fine. That's fine.
Oh, what a
Thank
gentleman.
God I have actual stories. I put glasses on. I have to.
I do have a story. I just don't want to come out the gate with it.
Now he finally wants to close something.
Wow.
And
You
never
two back
fool
and
around
forth
with
is
me,
my
Bobby.
favorite thing.
Yeah, old man's got a few tricks up his sleeve. Okay. Puncher's gonna
Here you go,
punch.
Bobby. Fuck you.
Frank needed a 3-hour nap to come up with that.
Well, to be fair, on our last podcast, Bobby admitted he had a line he used that he wrote 45 minutes earlier at the beginning of the show. He
Yeah, I
held
did do
on to
that.
it for the perfect moment. So the two of them do that.
And it fell on deaf ears, guys.
Yeah.
Deaf ears.
Speaking of things I wish fell on deaf ears, Kendall Jenner and celeb pals celebrate 818 tequila amid appropriation backlash. Kendall Jenner partied her heart out Friday night in celebration of the launch of her new 818 tequila amid backlash at the promo of the brand, and for some, the brand itself appropriates Mexican culture. Kendall was joined by sisters Kim and Khloe Kardashian, Kylie Jenner, mother Kris Jenner, and friends like models bestie Hailey Bieber and singer Katy Perry at Craig's in Los Angeles at a 5-star meal and drinks courtesy of 818. Here's the female entrepreneurship, Perry 36 toasted Jenner's honor on Instagram. The dinner then turned into an 18 theme party at the Nice Guy with branded games displays throughout the space. A green truck labeled Kenny's Tequila Delivery Service was also parked out front to add to the tequila ambiance. Other celebrities were there, people I don't know. Chris Brown, Winnie Harlow, Migos rapper, Quavo, I don't know. Takeoff, a bunch of things I don't know.
Quavo.
Who cares? The celebration comes shortly after ads for the brand divided social media, with several onlookers accusing Jenner of cultural appropriation. Throughout the ad, which features Jenner riding on horseback among rows of agave plants and sipping tequila on the back of a pickup truck, the runaway pro wore jeans, a cowboy hat, and a loose cut shirt over a tank top, a look that referred to some as tone deaf and migrant chic. For many years, the look capitalized on stereotypes associated with Mexican farmers. Who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it Kendall Jenner for launching a tequila thing? What does she know about tequila? I mean, she probably drank a lot. What does she really know about it? Does she really need more money? Is it Mexicans Mexicans for dressing like that, where a girl would be like, that looks hot. I want to dress like a person that picked strawberries and lost all their family while trying to sneak over a border. Is it people, mostly white people, I'm guessing, that are saying this is cultural appropriation? If you're sitting on the back of a wagon and you are hanging out in there, it doesn't mean you're being Mexican. She's selling tequila. She should dress like that. Ronald McDonald's not a real clown. Is he clown appropriating? You dress up like the thing you're fucking selling. Is who she's selling it to. She's also a hot lady. She's doing Halloween as a Mexican. It's fine, but whatever. Is it anyone that is giving a fuck about this and saying this is cultural appropriation? It isn't. It's an ad for tequila. They're trying to kill you with probably shitty booze, worse than the one Sammy Hagar has. What do we care about that? Who's piece of shit in the story? Pete, you go first.
Wait. Did you see the commercial, Pat?
No.
Okay. Did anybody here see the commercial? Because I did.
No.
So what it is it's her and she's pregnant, right? And she's like
What?
talking in Spanish to another
He's
guy.
talking shit.
And it's like, we gotta go. And then that's her running through a desert. She meets a group of guys, right? They slit her throat, and from the blood, they make the tequila. So it is a little bit of coyote cultural appropriation. We got to make sure everybody knows what it is.
Adios, mio.
I wish
That's
that
a
was
tagline.
Oh my
That's a tagline. Adios, mio.
Key, mira key. Okay, now that being said, now that you know what the video looked like, or it was just her hot in a cart Either way, Pete,
Which
take it
one's
away.
Kendall?
What?
Which one's Kendall? Of the Kardashian,
man, I don't
or
know.
the Jenners?
How do I
Youngest one?
explain that? She wasn't the originals.
No, who gives a fuck?
I think she's the Travis Barker one, right? The
Yeah,
Travis
yeah.
Scott.
She's a
Oh,
yeah, she is.
She's on fucking okay. Whoever's mad about it is definitely the piece of shit because one, it's tequila. Like, why does every celebrity need to make a fucking tequila? Make other fucking drinks. Like, appropriate whiskey. I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
I know there's
be Tito's, where you're in Texas. Like, we shouldn't make vodka here. We're making vodka.
yeah, do something different.
Yeah, I'm with you.
She's a piece of shit too, but I think for lots of reasons, she wants to make a tequila, fine. But anyone who's mad about it, like guaranteed Mexicans are not mad about it. It's all the white people who are pissed off about it.
That's all cultural appropriation is. It's white people telling white
I
people
know.
to stop doing stuff. No one is getting up as an actual Mexican and saying this took our job. They got jobs out of it. You know what I mean? If
I don't know
anything,
if
who do you
Right.
think's fucking making the tequila? It's not Kendall Jenner. She's not out there brewing it up and making up batches of tequila. She's got a couple of Guadalupes making it, and that's who's making money off it. It's probably her own personal Guadalupe Jenners. She's got
Coming
her own-
from this year from Kellogg's.
Are they mad? Are they
Guadalupes.
mad simply because of how she dressed in the advertisement?
By the way, Bobby, we are doing that ad someday of Guadalupe, the Mexican Fruit Loop cereal.
Part of a balanced breakfast.
Probably not. Only if you eat the worm to get your protein.
That's it. Cross the border for this tasty treat. It's a good one. Guadalupe.
Follow your
Andrew, who's
nose.
a piece of shit?
I'm not totally sure, but I know it's not Kendall Jenner because this is not the first time she has shittily appropriated culture to sell a beverage.
Yes.
If you recall, 4 years ago, she sold Pepsi as part of like a Black Lives Matter thing. She gave a Pepsi to a
First of all,
cop. It
she
was
stopped racism. How dare
Yes.
you? She stopped it with Pepsi. She walked
stopped
over and
with
handed it out.
Coke.
It was done.
yeah. Which, there's such an enormous backlash that they yanked the ad and everything else. I can only hope there's such an enormous backlash with this tequila that they end up building the wall.
But just around the
Wall around
belly.
her family. That's the wall I want. Stop.
Whatever.
her family.
Start small. Just start.
Frank, do you know who any of those people are?
Yeah, oh, I know Kendall.
Oh,
I see. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's in my Google history.
Yeah.
We hang out.
okay, dog.
She had a job. She got paid. You can't deny her from working, number one. The
So,
She
tequila
owns the
company.
tequila, Frank. She didn't get a job. She owns it.
Oh, it's her company.
Yeah, if
More
you know
props to
Kendall
her
like you
then.
say you
More
do,
props
they
to
have a
her.
couple bucks.
I mean, she's in business. She's selling tequila. Who's better to sell it than herself? She drinks it. She makes it. She's employing Mexicans in Mexico. She makes the tequila in Mexico. She's not making it in Carmel, California. She's doing a hell of a good job keeping people off the streets. And the
streets?
Frank, this is the opposite of what we do on this podcast. You picked out who the hero in the story was.
No, I'm getting to the negative part. I'm trying to figure out how you're the fucking negative piece in this story.
Ooh.
Wow, we didn't know.
I'll tell you, yeah, I'm okay. I'm definitely making it that Bobby is the piece of shit in this story because he's the only asshole that watched the commercial and he probably jerked off to it.
Hey, Frank,
What?
that wasn't the real commercial. They didn't
Yeah.
slit someone's throat and make the tequila from the blood of the woman.
It sounded good. I mean,
It sounded like Narcos 3. It sounded
I
good.
made horror movies. That was pretty good. I like that, Bobby. We
Thank
gotta
you.
talk later.
Yeah.
Oh, now you're friends.
Now, the
After
piece
murder.
of shit are the people that are complaining about it. Everybody's doing a job. The ad agency came up with the commercial. They used Mexicans because the tequila is made in Mexico. I mean, this is a lot. Why I don't even know why we're talking about this. I mean, the people are a piece of shit in this that are complaining about this because they got nothing else to complain about.
Oh, Bobo.
I'm gonna zig where everybody else zagged. I don't think the people who are complaining are the piece of shit. I think, Pat, it's somebody you normally mention but didn't this time. It's the author of this story. And let me explain myself. Because this is, like you said, Andrea, this is what the Kardashians do. Negative attention still sells things. Remember their lip challenge that went wrong? Remember when the mom came out and was like, you need to have sex with a blacker guy for publicity? All these things. They leaked the
thought
sex tape.
For me.
Yeah, exactly. It's, they'll do anything for attention. they're doing this to launch the brand. People who like Kendall are going to buy her tequila. It's just to let people know. And then we've been getting upset at this kind of thing for years as a society. It's what we do. It's the same idea. Like, you don't buy Italian food in Mexico. You don't buy seafood in the middle of the country. You want to go to what people know. So you have a right to get upset and be like, hey, it's probably not going to be as good. She has a right to make it and try, but we have the right to be upset about it and be like, I don't think she's the expert.
But are people not? People are upset, like, not that she's making tequila, but just because her ad, she dressed Mexican-ish.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's more what it is. Yeah.
But she just sounded like she was dressed like a dumb bitch.
He was in the back of a cart, dude.
I think it'd be hilarious if she just went full dipshit and dressed like Speedy Gonzalez, sombrero, fucking.
Ay, caramba.
Crappy mariachi band in the
Just
background.
saying, if Pat and I show up and we're like, hey guys, we have a product that prevents hair loss, I don't think anybody's jumping on that train, right?
Like,
Sure.
well, they might go. It's working for Bobby a little, but for Pat it didn't at all.
Try our new hair removal cream.
It's the most real.
Like, it slowed Bobby down. Well, Pat, when you were describing like how she was dressed, and that's why they were mad, I was like waiting for like she was wearing a sombrero.
Yeah, and all the Jenners came out like a mariachi band or something like that. That would be great.
That'd be awesome.
But at the end of the day, it is Kendall Jenner. First of all, if you're gonna do it, like you guys have kind of do it 100%. You tell people, first of all, that now that she owns a tequila company, it's not pronounced Jenner because they don't pronounce the J's, it's Jenner. That's what you say. It's Kendall Jenner, and that's how we pronounce our names from now on. And then you go hard. Like, literally, if I was her, I would have had all my landscapers, all my fucking crew, all her butlers, which you know are Mexican anyway. They should have been in the commercial, all in the cart. She's shipping them in so they can do all her dirty work, like clean the house, bury the bodies that her dad, mom, whatever, Caitlin runs things over with her car, and take care of all that shit. So they show them a hard day's work, a hard day of work at the Jenner Ranch, and they work there and they're scrubbing, they're cleaning, they're stealing babies, all the things that the Jenners make them do. And at the end of the day, when they're finally done, they're put back in the cart. Kendall comes over, pours them a shot of 818 because that's the time they get to go home. They leave at 818. They come in at 818. That's when they come in 12-hour shifts. You pour them a little shot. They go, thank you, Mrs. Jenner. And then right at the end, Caitlin runs their car right into their cart and they all die. They should have embraced it 100% because they just went sexy, which doesn't work. Lindsay Lohan's tried to do booze. All the girls of the moment tried to do this. People don't want to, if they're going to have the booze, have a loser guy do a shot and then get a date with Kendall. That'll sell the commercial. Don't show me a hot girl doing hot girl things. Like, look, it's fun to be a farmer. No, it's fucking not. It's painstaking and it's terrible. So don't do it that way. Either make it so it's a fantasy or fat fucking do, or show me the Mexicans, not some in-between bullshit. So Kendall's a piece of shit.
I think they could do a real commercial that would like relate to the hardships Kendall went through and like a Mexican migrant. And it could be like a young girl giving birth and the mother crying, then Kris Jenner giving birth and crying, and like a young Caitlin Mexican mother selling the baby into to one of the local gangs, and then it's Kendall Jenner like selling her baby pictures to the press, and then it's
what's
like,
the name of the gang, Bobby? 818.
Exactly. 818's the gang, and each time they go through a rough spot in their life, they take a shot. And then it's like the gang's pimping out the Mexican girl. Kendall Jenner's pimping, or Kris Jenner's pimping out Kendall. Like, you got to do this for the family. And they're drinking the tequila to make it go away. It could work.
If 818 was the street address of Nicole Brown Simpson. And that was the whole reason.
Shit.
That's where they got all their money from the very beginning because of their father and everything. So if that would be the deepest cut ever, if you found out that was her street address and that's where that all happened. Now then I would enjoy that. Just show that commercial. OJ's in the car. I don't know what to do, AC. And AC takes a quick shot of 818, picks them up, and they drive down the streets. And then history is made. And then Robert Kardashian defends all them, does his thing. And then the Kardashians have all their money. That would have been it. I would appreciate that one more. But I like Bobby's commercial with the blood, the sacrifice of the blood. I think that one would be good.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, she's either murdered by a gang or she does make it to the States, work illegally, and gets sucked into a combine and dies that way.
Yeah. all of our commercials are better than the one that they talked about. A girl just being kind of hot as a farmer.
We need to get into marketing. It sounds like a untapped gold mine.
That's
don't
what
know
they
what they're
want.
doing.
Just 5 white people in a marketing thing. That's what the world wants right now.
I can pretend to be Jewish if that
And
helps.
Pete is sometimes gay, so we win. Bisexual, Frank's whatever he is. You're old. You're the worst. They wouldn't let you in.
What's the cool brother's name in that family?
What brother?
The only one who's normal. He hates all of them.
Oh yeah, isn't he like a fucking meteorologist or something?
I don't know about him.
He just talks shit on all of them. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Rob Kardashian.
Yeah. So it's like, you know what pairs great with 818 tequila, and it's just Rob on a float from Cuba, a nice Rob Kardashian cigar.
Yeah, you should have that. Or a nice Rob Kardashian restraining order. Here's what I'm saying. This is my new thing. Frank, you want to do your story?
Sure, why not? What the hell?
Thanks for chiming in. Sorry, I didn't mean to bother.
Okay.
There's nothing.
As Pat normally says, that I have a background of doing hoaxes on the media on international.
God damn it! Do I have to do? I'll do it. Fine.
All right, do it.
I figured at this point the show's a machine and people know, but fine. Pete knows this already, and I believe Andrea knows this already. But either way, I'll do it. Frank Margallo is not only an old piece of shit who's yelling at Bobby and making my life tough right now. He is also, throughout his life, did a bunch of pranks and hoaxes with a man named Alan Abel. They went around the country tricking people into wonderful scams, not like today's things like that, not like Practical Jokers where they reveal it after it's all waka waka. They would do these things in hopes of promoting other people's stuff and never reveal that it was a prank or hoax. They've tricked the feds. They've tricked, tennis organizations, a whole city of Stamford, Connecticut. You name it, they've tricked it. And Frank shares those stories with us and lets us know what the piece of shit is. Usually this is the point where Bobby says it's Frank. So anyway, Frank, is that better?
Okay, that's great. I love it. I mean, that's the way it should be done every week. And every week you never disappoint. You nail it.
Thanks, 3
I
hour
like
nap.
it.
Fuck
Okay,
you.
thank you.
And I always say Frank's the piece of shit because he's never revealed his greatest prank yet, which is just staying on this podcast.
All right, here we go. This is 1999. I retired from doing pranks. I have a normal life. I was working for an international bank, and Alan calls me up, Alan Abel, my cohort in doing these pranks, and he was still doing them. And so he calls me up and he says, Frank, I got you on HBO. They're taping next week and you're going there. I said, doing what? I mean, I don't understand this, Alan. He said, they are looking for men to expose their penises. And I booked you on the show. I said, are you serious? I said, Alan, I'm in the financial business now. He says, no, you're going to make national headlines because I booked you as the man with the smallest penis. I said, Alan, are you crazy? I'm not going on television on HBO and say I got the smallest penis. He says, come on, you won't do it? I said, no. I said, you do it. He says, all right, I'll do it if you come with me and we're going to bill you as the man with the second smallest penis. I said, bullshit on that. I'm not going on there and tell him I got the second smallest penis. So I said, I'm not doing it. He said, okay, would you come with me as my handler? I said, well, I'll be off camera. I said, I have no problem with that. So we go down there and they have about 20 naked guys floating around. Alan wouldn't get totally, he had his briefs on. And he went, they interviewed him. They interviewed him as the man with the smallest penis. He said it's in the Guinness's World Records. They never checked it out. They never did anything. They paid him to do it. And we left. A month later, it's on television. It gets full exposure. And then it just totally blew up once they found out it was Alan Abel. I mean, headlines all over the world. The photo behind me is from a newspaper in London. It says, "Get Shorty." I mean, this whole thing was a great hoax that he pulled off. And by not showing anything, he tucked it in, we were counted, and he pulled it off. Now, who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it me not having the world's smallest penis or the second smallest penis? Is it Alan for just doing it and saying he has the smallest penis?
Stop.
What?
That's not why not you for not pretending to have the world's smallest penis.
Well, I might have.
There's no proof that you don't.
You're right.
Because you wouldn't prove it.
No. And is it the producers that bought everything he said and was looking for the headlines, not looking for the meat of the story, and they put it on? And after it was announced that it was a hoax, they showed the show 5 more times.
Well, I'm going to say it's the producers for not verifying. Apparently, they didn't have any PAs running around with a tape measurer. Although I do have to give them some credit that they reran the episodes so as to make sure Alan was undateable.
Pete, go ahead.
I gotta say it's Alan and you for taking away the title of
Your
the
title?
penis from whoever actually has it. You robbed a man of his glory. You guys didn't even whip your dicks out. That's bullshit. And I also like that to get you on, he was like, I got you on HBO Max. They were looking for guys to expose their penises as if that was hard to fucking find.
Yeah. I mean, I know it was 1999, but even back then, people were still willing. They were doing Polaroids back then, not phones, but they were still whipping it out and sending it to folks.
Frank, how come every time you like tell one of these stories about you and Alan working together, it just sounds like he fucking has been pranking you for 30 years by getting you to television and doing embarrassing shit. They're like, oh, I told this guy Frank that like he should be on a cooking show and then he should tell people he's got a tiny dick and then he's gonna make an ass out of himself.
I made him dress up like an Arab and show up somewhere and make demands. Yeah, you know what? I think Alan was just pranking you, and he couldn't believe you did this shit. You were just kidding. He's like, "What is doing?"
I gotta revisit all these things that happen.
He's like, he keeps fucking doing them, and then Alan got all the credit. You're just running around getting nuts, Bobby.
This is a tough one, Frank. But I don't think it's you for once. I think it's Alan Abel. If you have the idea to prank somebody by saying you have the tiniest dick in the world, it's kind of your responsibility to shoulder that burden. It's not really fair to be like, hey, I need you to tell everybody you have a real tiny dick.
But like, also, I think that's like, I'm going to prank the world by telling them I have a small dick.
I think the world pranked you.
I don't get how that's pranking the world.
Okay, well, I have to say this. I mean, Alan came to me not with the idea that he was going to do it, that I was going to do it, because I always would do anything.
Yeah,
but I just got a job with an international bank, and I just couldn't go on TV and expose myself. What the prank? I have the smallest dick in the world.
No. Like a better prank would be.
A prank is when someone finds out their truth. They're like, "Oh, you got me." It's like, "Oh, what do you mean you don't have a tiny dick? Damn it, you pulled a hole over my eye."
Let me show you a prank. Let me show you how this could have been a prank, Frank. Let's say there's a comedic magician who I viscerally hate, who I hope dies and rots in hell. I would take no, not a good
Gemini?
one. I promise you, you've never heard of him. He's so terrible. He took a profession where you don't have to be a good comedian or a good magician. You just have to be shitty at both, and he's shitty at that. Anyway, let's say I took this guy, right? This real fruitcake, we'll call him. FC for short. And I was like, hey, I got you a late night spot on HBO Max. You're on this show. Just show up and be ready to do your 5. And then you just took care of all the signing in and everything. And then they brought him out on the show as the FC, the tiniest dick in the world. That's a prank.
Yeah.
The piece of shit in this story is Alan's idea for his prank tied with the producer of the show. It's not you, Frank. But if I was there, here's what it would make a better prank, a realistic one you could do on that show right there. You get Frank, to come on the show. You get Alan to come on the show. Both saying you're contending for smallest penis in the world. And you get someone who really has a small penis, and they think they're going to be in a group of their peers. And the two, you get fake prosthetic huge dongs, right? Like giant ones. So when that guy sits there and reveals his tiny penis, and you guys go, wait, even before he reveals it, you're like, Frank's like supposedly has the second smallest one, and you pull out like this 9-inch one. All of a sudden, this guy feels so much fucking worse because he thought he was around people like the Terrence Howard micro penis, but instead you're just got this huge long. Alan's got this giant one, and he's like, oh my god, I really do have the smallest dick in the world. And then that would be funny if your dicks fell off and he realized, okay, it's not that bad. That's a prank. You just going on TV and going, my dick's small. It's just weird. That's not a prank. That's just your dick.
I don't, the guy's got to live with himself that has the smallest dick. I mean, and we got to.
Okay, if he's married, who cares? It's the woman who's taking the tiny dick. What does he care? Doesn't matter how big your flag is, as long as you're putting it in the moon.
I don't know. I have to disagree on that.
Listen, you showed me a guy with a small dick. I showed you a guy who works hard.
How did Alan find this show? Like, just tiny dicks HBO. Like, well,
Alan watching in 1999, where he's like, "Hey, small dicks."
Yeah. They ran an ad in the Village Voice.
What show was this?
It was a documentary. It was some filmmakers that were making their third documentary for HBO, and they put an ad in the paper for people to expose their private parts on television on HBO.
I don't think it was a documentary.
What the fuck would that be of like?
Well, I mean, it was that was a segment of the show, and they had 19 other men that exposed themselves with all different sizes. And in fact, they didn't show their faces. I think Trump was on there because one had a mushroom penis.
Don't do bits.
I'm gonna change my answer.
This is not a bit. This is not a bit.
Trump cock was not in it.
Well, I don't know. I'm just taking a shot.
I don't know. I'm just wildly speculating.
Saying Trump, that's a bit.
I think you and Alan Abel got caught up in some Epstein shit.
Yeah. I think Alan at one point owed a lot of people money, had to come up with some schemes quick. He's like, I don't know, money's in dicks.
What's your premise for a movie? Well, we're going to get a bunch of dudes to show us their penis. Well, like, what's the plot? Don't think too much beyond just us getting a bunch of guys to show us the penis. Well, like,
don't worry.
Do they have to?
We're just gonna, and then we're just going to take the word of the guy who says he has the smallest one.
Do they have to show their penis? Well, everybody except for the one the audience wants to see.
Well, you couldn't see it. I mean, the deal was that he told them on the interview before they filmed it that he had the world's smallest dick, and it's in the Guinness Book of Records. They never fact checked. That was the problem.
Who's going to look that? Let me thumb through for the dick part of Guinness Book of World Record. Who's going to look for the dick?
Oh, you don't have to. It's right at the front.
Right now.
Oh,
yeah,
I mean, it's small print. Joe. Frank, I think it's great that you said no. It's a docuseries, a documentary. I hope they got like Richard Attenborough or something like that. And there it is, the smallest penis in all its luster, doing its mating call. Like, it's a bunch of dudes with their tiny cocks out. Who's watching this? Who's this for?
Well, I'll tell you, after he was exposed as Alan Abel, it got tremendous viewership.
His dick?
No, not his dick. The documentary.
The dickumentary?
Why did people just go, "Oh, look, Alan Abel lied about having a tiny dick"?
Yeah.
Okay. It's not that compelling.
Did he?
We don't know.
It's like I never gagged, but I don't have much of a reflex.
Yeah. To be clear, I'm terrible at the dentist. So it could have been any size. Thanks, Frank.
Andrea, did you say who it was?
Who POS? Yeah, it's the producers for not checking.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure.
Simple.
Andrea's so on board. She jumped in before kicking to her. She's like, "Listen, I'm not going to small dick out of the park."
Yeah, I was impressed though. That they ran the special several more times to ensure that the gravest dog. Got to give him credit for that.
I'm finding that fucking.
Yeah, Bobby, that was the part where you left the show like you do every show. When you left at one point,
had to pee.
Yeah.
So is that documentary not on HBO Max? It's on HBO Minimum.
No, it's not. It has disappeared, as they say.
It's on Peacock.
You can't see it anymore.
Bobby, you want to share your story? And I hope it's
Sure.
about man dicks.
It's not.
Why?
Oh, by the way, big penis, small penis, any kind of penis. I don't care what size your penis is. Silk City hot sauce is for you.
I was thinking about going, if you have a tiny dick and feel depressed and need cheered up, I can't think of a better gift than Silk City hot sauce.
Yeah, you can buy as many bottles as you have inches. One bottle, they have 6-pack, whatever you need. You buy whatever, you batch it up. The bottles are not that big, but they're powerful, like your tiny little terrible cock. They're small, but they're beautiful, just like your penis. You've been told by people who don't really mean it, but it is there. And they say it tastes good. It's not too hot in their mouth. Just like the sauce, it's all flavorful. And one of them tastes like Chad Zumock, which is also a penis that's been in people's mouth. Anyway, it's all kinds of sauces. You can order anything you want. Bobby, how do they save money on it?
Well, guys, they've got a real neat running promotion just for fans of the POS show. And it's very simple. You got to do two things. Step one, you write promo code POS on your order. Step two, you DM a pic of your dick to
Gotta
Silk
be
City
small.
Hot Sauce on Twitter, and they will then honor the 15%. Just to be clear, no dick pic, no 15%.
If you have 15% penis, you get 15% off. That's what the deal is. Yes, Andy.
Quick question. Can I send a photo of someone else's penis?
No, you
Please.
can actually send a picture of your vagina because that's small. It's as small as a small penis.
Oh, okay. Okay. Got it.
Every small penis is really a vagina.
I already have the lighting set up. It'll be easy.
Oh, okay, perfect. Then boom, then sauce is for you, whatever flavor you want. And they don't care what color the penis is, as long as it's small. I mean, obviously, don't have any black ones, but Asians, white, it's Asians. It's your month. Go ahead, get yourself some sauce. It is actually for you. Small penis, big taste. That's what's happening here because, as we've said many, many times, Silk City Hot Sauce is not racist. They aren't sexist. They just hate pedophiles. That's it. They hate it when you fuck kids, but they like everything else.
And
But
that's
if you're a
promo
kid
code
fucker, trying to
POS.
quit, drink hot sauce
And that's promo code POS as penises or something.
or something. Oh, penis. Oh, small. That's what it stands for. Perfect. All right, Bobby, go ahead.
So this is a story of why I like can't coach or ref sports. And it's you see these things all the time. It's arguments between in like baseball, you're supposed to get kicked out, but it's arguments between the umpire and the coach, and then the coach gets kicked out. But they're always like really tame. Like the worst you ever hear is like fuck you. Well, I was watching a game of a relative who was playing, and we'll say it's middle school at the time. And they made a very terrible call that cost the team the game. And I was arguing with the ref afterwards, and he was like, come on, man. The call wasn't that bad. And I was like, you should go home, park in your garage, put the door down, and just leave it running. Maybe accelerate a little bit. That would be better than the call you made out there. Like, that's a better call. And he was like, you're being ridiculous. And I was like, not as ridiculous as you thinking you satisfy your wife with that tiny cock. And so I'm not welcome back there. Who's the piece of shit in the story? Is it me for taking things too far? Is it the ref for making a terrible call and blowing the game? Or is it the stadium? Like, if you heard that kind of verbal sparring every event, you'd come. Like, if you knew at some point there's just going to be a full-on argument, you're going to sell more tickets than you would to a middle school lacrosse game. Frank, since I know this story makes me look a certain way, I'm going to kick it to you first. Who's the piece of shit?
Unfortunately, Bobby, I had an urgent email I was reading. And I didn't hear the whole
you got
story.
5 more minutes left, Frank.
Okay. Now I'm just going to ask you
I
something.
won a sweepstakes.
This Nigerian prince that I won.
I'm just going to answer this by
This N-wordian
asking you
prince
some
told me I won.
questions. Okay, so this was an event that you went to, a local event of some athletic event for young people, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and something happened that created an altercation?
Frank's
It was
Cliff
just a
Notes
bad
are
call that cost the game. Yeah.
Okay. What's the point?
You were the referee, Frank. Pay attention.
Oh, I told you I had an urgent email. I'm sorry. I'm going to save you a lot
No.
of
Let
steps,
me address the
Bobby.
question. What's the point? The point is
Okay,
sometimes you're going to lose in life, but make sure you get the last word.
okay.
Okay. All those middle schoolers learned a very important lesson. If they get fired from their shitty retail job, they're not walking out of the store. They're leaving everybody in that store with a memory. Yeah, exactly.
Frank, how
What?
can you, of all people, ask what's the point? Your whole life was playing pranks on people for no fucking reason.
But we just established
reason.
Frank doesn't actually understand what pranks are.
Right?
That's
Frank just
right.
shows his dick to
I thought I was doing a civil service job. That's what I thought I was doing.
Man, these benefits are terrible.
Bobby, I'm going to have to, based on everything that I know, all the facts that I've accumulated in the last couple of minutes, I'm the piece of shit because
Yeah.
I didn't pay attention to your story. I mean, it's that simple.
We all were thinking it. You said it. Thanks, Frank.
Okay.
Pete, we'll go to you next.
You say the sport was lacrosse?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The piece of shit is your relative for playing a gay ass sport like lacrosse.
Well, it was the original sport. They were playing it while your people were still swinging from trees, Pete.
Cross
What
sucks.
people are those?
American
guessing
Ninja
Irish.
Warriors.
Pete's Italian, I think.
Oh boy, that's
Yeah.
my people. I can't insult you too much.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're the same people. You're just bearded, fat Italians. What are you doing?
All right, well, that was
Big-
hurtful for no
big,
reason.
Strong tree.
Hey,
Well, another fat Italian getting in on this. Shut up.
hey, I read your post. I had to be held back.
Oh, my post on Italian saying.
Yeah. Oh, did I have to be held back on that one? Whoa.
Oh, I thought you meant in school. I don't get it.
He was the one kid in school, so that's all they had back then. So
Oh, okay.
He
Yeah.
was in all the grades. So
Andrea?
Pete, it's lacrosse. It's the piece of shit.
Yeah, I just
That's
don't
fair. That's fair.
Like it's just full of preppy gay assholes.
Yeah,
Andrea?
yeah, you would think that, soccer with sticks would be cooler, but it's not. So did this ref live to the following week?
Yeah. We were cool. We were cool. I got my words out afterwards.
Then I'm gonna have to say that you're the piece of shit, Bobby. Here's why: actions speak louder than words, sir. If you did not seal his garage door shut to kill him or fuck his wife, I mean, they're just words, man. What are you really doing? Pissing into the wind.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
true. Like, I wouldn't if I knew there was going to be a yelling match at a game. That's not going to draw me in. If there's a fist fight and there's blood spilled, then I'm going. I'll be there every time.
Like walk before we run. We can't just lead to an all-out brawl.
You should have beaten him.
Yeah, but that's what the fighting words are for. And then you throw down.
Pat,
Sound
give me
like
some
Donkey
support
Kong.
here.
Well,
Help me
I am,
out.
but I have to ask an important question.
Okay.
When did this happen?
Just 3 hours ago.
Like in my life?
I was gonna say tomorrow.
7 to 8 years ago.
Okay, you were what age?
Like 18, 19.
Okay, a whole different story then. Because if we're doing it right now, Bobby, then Bobby, you're the
Yeah. I should
know.
have prefaced with that. Thank you. Yeah.
That changes the whole game because I'm guessing the person who's fighting with you was not an 18-year-old dad.
No.
No, not at all. That's an adult yelling at someone who's doing a job that nobody wants. That's why a kid has to do it. I umpired to make a little bit of money when I was in Little League, but older than the younger kids, and I did that stuff to get paid like $25, and I would get screamed at by adults because I didn't call the right ball or strike, and I turn around and go, "Fuck you! I'm 13." I had those yells many times. And a grown man who's drinking at a game and mad because his son walked because he wanted his son to swing like a fucking real man would scream at me. So you are not the piece of shit in this. If you were an adult, that's one thing. Any adult who's yelling at a kid who's trying to make sure his kids can play a sport because the sport's too cheap to have somebody out there and referee it themselves, especially lacrosse, a white privileged sport where I know it was run by Native Americans, but like everything else, we stole it from them and made it ours. Thanks, Duke lacrosse. Anyway, so what you do with that is you hire someone who actually can do it, an adult to do it, or make that fucker. If any adult wants to yell about refereeing, you should be allowed as the ref to turn in, tag that fucker in, and make them do it. And then you get the shit on them. That person is teaching their kid to be a garbage human, and lacrosse players already turn into rapists and garbage humans. They don't need more support like that. They need you to say some shit back so they learn how to have some balls and deal with confrontation. So you're not the piece of shit that fucking parent is. And Frank, so I also didn't listen to the story. I was watching the Kendall Jenner ad, but I was able to wait back because I know I go last, piece it all together, and do a great promo at the end.
You almost did though, Pat, except for I was the spectator at 18 yelling at a 40-year-old ref. Yeah, it was like a 45-year-old guy.
She didn't look Mexican in the end. She looked like a lady who was just hanging out in the Western.
Yeah, it really wasn't that
She
bad.
was very cute.
Frank, I gotta be honest. I can't help thinking about you staring at your fucking screen and just waiting for emails and then getting an urgent one. Like, what the fuck was that email?
You want to know what it was?
Yeah.
For some strange reason, car dealerships want to buy my car, and so I have a bidding war going on between dealerships that want
For
to buy
some
my
strange
car.
reason, Frank. You're about to die.
I offered my car up, and this weird thing keeps happening. They keep offering me money I asked for.
It's so urgent they couldn't wait 12 more minutes for your response. If
Yeah,
it was
the eBay
urgent, they'd
window
call
runs
you.
out.
It's not urgent. Bobby's urgent. You should care about Bobby.
Yeah, you should go to urgent care.
Why? Because he's ill? Why are you being mean to Bobby?
Bob, did you hear what he said at the top of the show?
That's your guys' fun banter.
Yeah.
No.
Is that what that was banter?
Oh, you start to you go right at him.
I started Let's Get Loud with Pat Dixon today by going, the magic number's 3 ex-wives, 3 inches, 3 shows on compound nobody watches. That's nothing, Frank, when I'm coming after you.
Oh,
Here goes another plug of all his other shows. Let's Get Loud with Bobby Bea.
Oh boy. I triggered Pat Opie.
Yep. Oh, I'm Opie. You're Kumia in this?
One of
You're
us is acting like a
Kumia in
woman.
this.
One of us is acting like a woman right now.
I'm acting like a woman in this. Pat, can I read our ad on someone else's thing? Sure. Pat, can I promote just the other show and not yours? Yeah. Can I have Larry yell at you all the time on the internet for no reason? Sure. Larry doesn't stop yelling at me now for some reason. He's in a bidding war for you. I didn't know you were going over there. But no, it's fine. Go over there. And you go, oh, I was talking to Pat Dixon. So then, boom, I'm hurt again because you weren't talking to me. It was the other Pat.
I said mean things about that, Pat, though. I only say nice things about you.
No, you don't. You trash me on here all the time.
That doesn't sound like me.
Retail, watch it.
Well, you're a manager. That's different.
I'm not. I'm the co-host of a show with you. The piece of shit in the story's Bobby. I didn't even tell a story.
Wouldn't that be weird to have a podcast, but it's a corporate structure? Like, I'm not the host, I'm the manager of the podcast. Like, how much of that's
Bobby? I am that. I get real mad if people don't follow the structure. I've yelled at people many times. Some of these
Well,
guys
I'm the
get-
vice president. I'm the senior vice president.
We've done that. We've been real close to that one. All right, we'll finish it on this. Owner insists 9/11 theme bar is not in poor taste. Bar 9/11 with the number 9 then the word 11 is a bar in Texas named after the September 11, 2001 terror attacks, has shocked and outraged Twitter after travelers snapped a photo of the Fort Worth pub exterior featuring cheery bubble letters. Drove by the bar and thought, I wonder what that's about. Turns out it's exactly what you think. Missouri resident Jesse Tyler wrote on Twitter. It's one of the worst things in American history, but I get it. Sensitive subject, said Bar 11 owner Brent Thompson told the Post, but it never intended to offend anybody. If you don't have all the facts, you probably have to have a negative reaction. But Bar 911, he explained, actually serves as the lounge area of a Tex-Mex restaurant, Rio Mambo, in the City View area of Fort Worth, and got its name exactly 15 years ago. That was actually called a different name for a while, but 15 years afterwards, he felt like people were forgetting about 9/11. He said, even though people say never forget, so he thought he'd help them remind them by naming his bar 9/11. And inside having pictures of the tragedy all over the walls when you go in. Now, I don't know if they have things like 2 onion ring towers that one falls when the other one falls or anything like that. But who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it a guy who's capitalizing on something? We're talking about it. People are talking about. No one was talking about his fucking Mexican restaurant before. He called it 9/11. This place called 7-Eleven. It's not their fault. There wasn't something cool that happened in July. Then it's just what happened in September. Now, I shouldn't say something cool, but what I'm saying is, you name your bar after something where people want to go, and they named it that. It's getting attention. Is it the guy who drove by and said, "I wonder what this is about," and then went inside to explore? Like when you went inside to explore, you knew what the fuck it was going to be. Well, don't get mad about it. Who cares what the guy's name? It's the same thing with the Kendall Jenner thing. Is he doing anything wrong? Is he capitalizing on it? Yeah, a little bit. But isn't that the American way? America was built on tragedy. All we have is wars, and then we build off that. Tea parties, we build off that. That's all we do. This guy saw something. He didn't do it the next day. He's actually, if you read the article, he wanted to, but he waited. His wife was like, no, and he waited years after. And finally, he was like, now I can capitalize on my dream. Is it people making outrage? If someone's trying to make money in this day and age, let him try to get it. He's getting attention. I'm sure he's not doing well. I'm sure the food's not good. If your food's good, you don't have to call your place 9/11. You don't have to do that to get people to come in, I'm guessing. But who's piece of shit in the story? Bobby, you go first.
Well, until you provided one key piece of information, I thought it was the owner of the bar. Because if you're going to do something like this, go all in. I had to give a speech on terrorism in the Middle East in 10th grade. And for my visual interactive part, we played the game where you could shoot Saddam on the smart boards. He'd run up and poke his head and he'd blow up. Like, where's the fun? Whack a terrorist for coins, like turn it into a full Dave and Buster's, really play into it. But then you said he wanted to name it 9/11 the day after. And then I really reevaluated this guy. This is just a guy who doesn't want the terrorists to win. You know what I mean? He doesn't want them to rob us of a day. And like, maybe he's misguided, but I think his heart's genuinely in the right place. It's his wife who said, don't do it the day after. All right, 15 years, enough time has passed. Like,
if you want to like him more, Bobby, here's a fun quote. At the time we opened, 9/11 was just another day of the week, Thompson said. But that morning is when my wife called me at the restaurant and told me a plane hit the towers. Undeterred, the 60-year-old restaurateur told his wife, sweetheart, we're open in 2.5 hours. I don't know what to tell you. So even that day when it happened, he didn't give a shit. People died. He's like, we're open in 2.5 hours. Because they were supposed to open that week for their grand opening. So,
like, how is the bar different than like that Toby Keith song? We'll put a boot in your ass. It's the American way. Like, it's all capitalizing on the same spirit. And I don't think like the music's wrong. I don't think the bar's wrong. I think it could be done a little more tastefully. But
if it was called Fuck 9/11, maybe it's more like Toby Keith. But it was just 9/11, so you don't know if they're celebrating it. Like, you go in, is it the plans? Like,
it is true. Like, if there's pictures of 9/11 on the wall and they play any kind of fun music, it does seem like you are celebrating the event.
Yeah.
It wasn't until the bar's 13th anniversary in 2014 that Thompson felt compelled to pay special tribute in their somber opening day. Like I say, he wanted to, but he finally felt like he had to. Because after 15 years later, people weren't talking about as much. We don't celebrate 9/11 the right way. But when I hear those figures, I just thought, that's kind of a tragedy. He said that's why he decided to rename the lounge bar. It used to be called Charlie Bar, which, who knows? The way this guy's going, that's probably from Vietnam.
I definitely thought it was going to be like Columbine Bar or something.
But Charlie Bar's there too. Who were the Charlies back then? You'd say after a former employee, so some former employee who died, they go, nope, 9/11. There's more people that died than you, Charlie. You're out. Bar 9/11 also includes the core with a narrative timeline of September 11th that compares Rio Mambo's opening morning with the events of New York, Pennsylvania, and D.C. So they compare their opening day to the last day of those places.
And you thought Tower 2 was bad. We had a lunch rush that did 15 grand.
Wow.
We were short people, kind of like we had to call people first responders, second responders. Everybody was coming in to work their shit.
We had E. coli in the tomatoes.
Pete, who's piece of shit?
Dick Cheney.
Nice. Why?
Because 9/11 was an inside job, all to make this restaurant.
So is working there. They don't have a patio. 9/11's an inside job.
Have you tried the 9/11 hot wings? So spicy it'll melt steel beams.
Kamikazes, half price. No.
Do you want your wings plain?
I just find that,
not
but
plain.
that's also, I just find it like that's not even a good name. Like I feel like regardless, but
No.
I mean, so is he just having like photos of the planes crashing in like all over the bar?
Just in the lounge area.
People look at it and just go, "Cheers."
Actually, the first line of the article was, "Well, cheers was taken." That's literally what they said, and you said that, which is great.
That's all right.
New York
he's
Post.
only
Again.
upping-
Oh, by the
so-
way, the person you hated before was Caitlyn Bennett was her name. For the article about Caitlyn Jenner or whatever Jenner it was, that was her name. But the person who wrote this one is Hannah Sparks, so she might be the piece of shit. Andrea.
So,
go ahead, Pete. Sorry, I thought it was.
so it was originally named after Charlie because there was one guy who died. Then he upped it to 9/11 because 3,000 or something or no one. And so next, is he going to change it like in 10 years to COVID-19?
Oh, I hope so. I hope it is.
And I hate how they keep saying Charlie was just one dude. From what I heard, it was like all over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coronavirus Cafe. That'd be great. You have to wear masks when you go in, no matter what.
It's funny. You think we'll be done wearing masks by then?
We're done in Connecticut, baby. It's done.
I hope so. Well, and this bar is down in Texas. I don't think they're wearing masks.
No,
that's true.
Anyway.
Yeah. You think they're wearing masks at the 9/11 bar in Texas?
That's the only place this bar could be, by the way, is in Texas.
Exactly. I was kind of hoping maybe he had changed it from, the name he changed it from is like Challenger 86 or something. But I think the piece of shit is, someone who saw something distasteful and decided it needed to go on social media. That person, I don't support executions. I think forcible sterilization is perfectly reasonable for punishment in this case.
Yeah, if I was mad about it, I would rent a small plane and fly it into the 9/11.
Yeah, I mean, if you do have to take lessons, you don't have to learn how to land.
All you're
Come
doing
to
is
the
getting it
9/11
up and
car.
getting it close, and that's it. That's what I would have done.
Yeah.
That would be the ultimate way to do it.
Yeah.
I just feel like he went to like the memorial that for what happened. He saw the photos of Ground Zero and all the things. He was like, "This is a great aesthetic in here. We should, sell
Fuck, I could
burgers
use a
and beer."
drink. Fuck,
Open
I
up my
could use a
second bar.
drink.
My second bar, Auschwitzers. It's the best.
Ooh.
When you go in, you
Auschwitz your
get a little shoe-
spritzers. Yeah.
Yeah, they got a little shoes they got at the museum. They're fun.
Discarded shoes.
Yep.
Fantastic.
They're nobody's now. Frank, who's the piece of shit?
Well, you got to realize that America was built on capitalism, number one.
Mhm.
And you got to go back over the last 200 years. We have taken tragedies and made money from it. Go back to the Alamo. They're still selling tickets to go into the Alamo and see where Davy Crockett got killed.
I
mean,
went.
Then you get onion
making
rings there,
money.
though.
Boring.
What?
Go ahead.
Can
What'd
you
you
get
say?
onion, can you get onion rings at the Alamo?
I've never been there, so I don't know what they.
I wish there's no food at the Alamo.
But I mean, people have done this, a whole life. I mean, so I don't see a problem with this. I mean, the guy is trying to make a buck. The venue that he chose, nothing's the matter with it. It was a tragedy, and he's just following the footsteps of everybody else.
I hope
that made
every
money
item
from
on the menu
tragedies.
costs $9.11. By the way, that would be awesome. If everything was he went that hard. Everything's 9/11.
I mean, the Ford Theater where Lincoln got shot, they were selling tickets just to go see where he got shot and the seat where he got shot.
I've been
So
there
I don't see a
too.
problem with. I don't see a problem with this.
Frank's like, I got to shut down my
Yeah, but
novelty
usually-
3/5 compromise diner.
Yeah, look, Frank, normally, they'll sell tickets to where history happened, not just some bar that opened up and named themselves Pearl Harbor because that was the thing.
Yeah, Frank, it's like opening up a diner and having it segregated and blasting black people with a hose when they come in for a theme. It's 9/11.
I don't
It's
see a problem.
9/11. You can't call your restaurant 9/11.
Why?
Because
It's a bad name.
name me another date that you just say.
12/7.
7.
No one just says no. They don't. They call it something else. They do not call it 12/7.
Unfortunately, 3 diners did open up as 12/7, and they all failed. So that
How do you
can't
know?
take.
You're making things up.
Well, how do I? I'm 97 years
Smallest
old. I've been
dick
around.
diner in the
I'm
world.
79. I've been around.
Yeah, I've been around too, but I don't know diners.
It just sounds like a weird conversation to be like, "Hey, you guys want to go out for drinks? Yeah, what bar do you want to go to? 9/11."
I just start laughing. That's where you go. You're like high as fuck. Yeah, dude. 9/11.
If this is the truth.
We're drinking at 9/11.
I believe my father-in-law went to a bar and he hung out in the city called 9/11. It was the 9/11 bar. But this is way.
Okay, the 9/11 bar in New York City is a different thing because it happened in New York, and if that bar's anywhere near where that is, then I understand it. It didn't happen in Texas.
Have you guys tried the new tiki bar in town? Trail of Tears Tiki Bar?
Have you tried our Ho Chi Minh trail mix? It's tasty. We have my new place called Vietnam Nom 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 Nom. It's so tasty.
Sherman's March to the Seafood Buffet.
Bobby, did you say who it was yet?
Oh, yeah.
Did I forget? I never forget. See, that's what I did. It was a terrible pause. Nobody bought it. They're like, did Pat really forget? No, I didn't. But I'm not going to forget to now end this show. Andrea and Pete, thank you so much for being on. Andrea, where can people follow you, see you, and all that stuff?
Follow me on Twitter, Andrea from SLC. Also on Instagram at Patrolly. And I don't know, see me on Eastside Dave Show every Tuesday at 7:30.
With?
No, we'll correct that in a minute.
We'll fix it in post. Don't worry about
No,
it.
not in post, but we're gonna let you. Oh, because my brother will watch this and now correct you. My brother's a big fan of a lot of Compound shows, but of Eastside Dave, and corrects Bobby all the time. And one thing he said was, "You never promote it as Eastside Dave. You better say with Roy Harder." And and you didn't do that, so that's why Bobby was jumping in. But we'll get notes from my brother later on. Pete, go ahead.
Follow me on Twitter at PeteAngelo13 and on Instagram at Metal Pete Comedy.
Thank you, Pete. Frank.
Instagram and at Frank Behavior and Twitter, the same thing. Facebook, Frank Regallo. Pat and I next Thursday night will be at Comics of Mohegan Sun, June 3rd.
That's not next Thursday, is it?
That's next week, June 3rd.
God, it's already fucking. Geez.
Yeah, next week, June 3rd. We got a good lineup, and if you're in the
Frank
area,
directed
come on
you.
down.
Pete, what are you doing next Thursday?
Uh,
Gonna find a ride. Bobby, go ahead.
Check out the Eastside Dave Show with Roy Harder every Tuesday at 7:30 on compoundmedia.com. While you're there, check out the How Could You Forget 420 show with Luby. Use our promo code Silk City Hot Sauce on Silk City Hot Sauce's website, POS, to save 15%.
That'd be ballsier. If it was our website and used their fucking promo code.
Yeah. And make sure if you're not, check out the Patreon. We got some cool things up there. We got some cool things in the works. It'll be a lot of fun.
Once again, Bobby, I didn't share this with you yet, but Jake's newest thing is retro is awesome. The guests have been amazing so far, and people should get over on the page. He's mad more people aren't over on that, and he's like, retro has been great. He loved the History Homos. He thought that was great. As he put it, he said Howie Mason is always great because his references are amazing and they're very personal and weird. And he goes, Stevie Lou is the greatest kind of mental patient.
Yeah, he's the best.
And so they love that. The newest one that we just did has two great guys, TJ Francis and Rodney Norman. So go over there. It's exclusive just to the Patreon, POS Retro, just like this. But we cover stories from years in the past. Last one we just did was 1969. So it was a good one. We had a lot of fun things on there. Pete and Andrea, thank you so much for being on. And
Thanks for having us.
Remember, don't be a piece of shit.
Gotta hit stop this time.